Eldritch Soup for your soul.
What's going on, everybody? This is Eldritch Soup for your soul, and this is episode 3 and final episode of Chat GPT versus COC. I've used Chat GPT in the past to try to run a Call of Cthulhu investigation and not had the best of luck. So I told myself going into this, if the AI started having problems with continuity, details, dialogue, etc., that I would eventually pull the plug. And unfortunately, we have arrived to that situation. Try to continue the narrative in episode 3, but things, for some reason, just quickly started falling apart. Just to name a few, it basically stopped asking me to roll for anything, despite the fact that I corrected it multiple times. Changed the names of people, of locations, including the old shopkeeper. The dialogue started to get extremely repetitive, and it started to kind of rinse and recycle the same things over and over and over again, despite putting in completely different commands. And just to prove a point, I've been trying to get to an ending and conclusion for this investigation, and the ChatGPT is having a very difficult time of doing it. So let's talk about my thoughts about ChatGPT as a DM, GM, or keeper as I try to get a conclusion to Sabrina's investigation. So, do I think that ChatGPT is an adequate stand-in DM or keeper for a solo investigation? Unfortunately not. Even with the advanced prompt that I use from RPGPrompts, it starts off strong in the beginning, but then it has a really hard time of maintaining that momentum. What do I mean by that? Well, for starters, the AI will take what you say at face value and really doesn't have you roll for anything. I, on numerous occasions, had to correct the AI and tell it that I needed to roll for certain things, whether it was like library use, psychology, sneak, etc. And the AI would then adapt or ask for me to roll a couple times after that, but then go straight back to just automatically rolling. Now, to get into the nitty gritty of things, even if it asked me to roll, it wouldn't do like a hard roll, an extreme roll, nor would it have any kind of mixed success. A prime example of this is when I was attempting to do in episode 3. Sabrina started the investigation going back to the occult shopkeeper and getting more information about the missing painter. She was then redirected to Miskatonic University's art gallery, where she actually did see one of the surviving paintings. I specifically asked the AI to do a spot hidden check to see if I could decipher any details, and it just immediately assumed that I passed the roll and started to describe pretty much everything I need to know. I then corrected the AI and stated that I needed to roll for this, which then I failed. The AI's response was that I don't notice anything, the end, you have to move on. So no form of gray zone or mixed success or anything like that. This was quite frustrating because, for me, it doesn't matter whether it's Dungeons & Dragons or Call of Cthulhu, failing a roll just doesn't mean automatic and complete failure. There are varying degrees of success and failure that you as the DM or keeper can utilize when giving information to your players. Like, yes, you did fail the roll, so you couldn't make any connections from the paintings, but by saying that you see absolutely nothing, it gives the investigators or the players nothing then to go on to further the investigation. This creates a dead end that's almost impossible to get out of. And yes, Call of Cthulhu does have no rules for when a player gets stuck. They can make a knowledge roll to kind of backtrack and determine if there's any details that were missed out. The players need some kind of detail to do a no roll so they know where and how to backtrack. Now, that this whole art gallery was just one example that popped up in this investigation, there are numerous other ones where I had to kind of backtrack and ask the AI of where to go next. Which leads into my next problem, which is what I'm having right now, is that left to its own devices, the AI just kind of goes in circles. Even using the predetermined options up here, you can basically click on them and it will still give you the same result over and over using the same recycled dialogue. The story has only moved forward, and I myself have put in a new command that basically holds the hand of the AI to push the story forward. From my experience so far, the AI essentially just waits for you to push the story forward, and then it will create a dialogue or investigation from how you've done that. The AI is not going to do it on its own. My proof is that I have been trying to end this investigation for the past 30 minutes, and it is definitely struggling to get the job done. And on that note, a lot of the subtle, behind the scenes story and world building that, keepers and game masters will build for a tabletop game is completely absent. And what I mean by that is that most of the interactions between Sabrina and any of the NPCs have been very just straightforward. Very, very little psychology rolls to determine if someone is lying or fast talking or persuasion, deception. Prime example is when Sabrina just walked into Miskatonic University and asked to go into like the occult section. No one stopped her, no one asked anything. They're just like, sure, go for it. Versus in a human game, obviously the librarian would stop Sabrina, ask for credentials, she would have to be persuaded, fast talked, or even deceived into being let in. Another thing I picked up on quickly is that, the game kept telling me that the cultists are everywhere, the professor is missing, their influence is all around, but then they're nowhere to be seen. Right out the gate in my own mind, if I was running as keeper, how to build that level of suspense is, maybe having Sabrina's room broken into. Maybe she was being followed, or maybe people that she had questioned before don't want to talk to her anymore because they were threatened by the cult. Showing her, aka the player, that, their actions have consequences, that they're not the only one investigating this, and that their investigation is not going unnoticed. But so far, Sabrina has just investigated this with no one really noticing or kind of intervening. So I keep hearing of this threat of cultists, but they never materialize. And the first cultist I actually found, Sabrina hunted down herself. Like, there's so many instances where, like, when Sabrina snuck up on the mansion, if she failed a stealth roll, that they noticed her and we could have done like a chase scene or something like that. Or if Sabrina, caught one of the cultists who broke into the professor's office in the act, they couldn't have had a scuffle, which then maybe could have landed Sabrina in the hospital. And this is when her contact Donovan could have kind of stopped in, checked on her, and just give her advice about the cult without having Sabrina track him down. The more and more I played this investigation, the more I just saw that, the AI is good at creating a basic narrative, but then it lacks that true depth that you want from a horror investigation. And then the big and final part is just the complete lack of Lovecraftian horror or mythos. The AI is just assuming that I really know everything I need to know about the mythos and really doesn't have me do occult checks or even sanity checks. Even when investigating the cultists, the mansion, the symbols, the text, nothing. I point blank asked the AI, ChatGPT, are you even familiar with the sanity system? And it pulled up all the rules from the rulebook and even said that, it is in control. It will let me know when to roll for sanity and the consequences for failing, etc., etc. But same thing as before, it's not here. As I'm trying to finish this investigation, it even states that as Sabrina enters, there's like a dark, ominous presence that's like haunting her and aware of her presence, and she's actually looking at the specific symbols of the celestial alignment, but at no point is it asking for a sanity roll or anything like that. So I'm not going to lie, it is a little disappointing. At first, the Chat GPT, in my opinion, was going strong, but, as time went on and as the investigation went on, it became very apparent that it lacked a lot of the depth required to maintain an investigation, but also a horror game that's trying to capitalize on, fear and paranoia. So I hate to say it, but this will probably be my last run with Chat GPT. It's sad, I know. I was hoping it was going to work out because I think it would be a cool way to play the game in between sessions, or if I don't have a current group playing Call of Cthulhu. But, oh well. What does that mean going forward? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I bought every solo adventure from Chaosium to give my support. I'm just going to have some fun with it, kind of treat it like a roguelike where I pick up, each investigator and try to just make my way through the scenarios, trying to get every single ending. I had a lot of fun with the starter kit and played it the same way, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm currently writing a one-shot Call of Cthulhu investigation for my friends so we can play around Halloween, so more info on that. But in terms of an actual playthrough or investigation, currently not on one. I am a free agent. But before we end our little series, can we finish this investigation? Can we power through and see if Sabrina saves the day? And for all that is holy, I am trying, but I am not able to crack through the ice here. So to catch up, Sabrina went to the occultist, found out about the painter, went to the Miskatonic art gallery, couldn't really derive any information, so Sabrina just hit the ground running and went straight to the mansion. Full send. With no difficulty at all, she completely snuck in and found a man named Elias, who is also studier of the occult, and somehow had more information about the ritual, but not all of it. They deciphered what they could and realized that it's the specific alignment of these symbols connects with the celestial event, which gives them the power. So Sabrina and Elias messed with the symbols and then attempted to hide their tracks so the cult wouldn't find out. Elias stated that the research of Professor Caldwell is crucial to stopping this, so we headed back to Miskatonic University to the archives to discover what we could, and now we are in a desperate attempt to find him. And by him, I mean Professor Caldwell. And I have chosen every option possible, and the story will not progress. I even asked it straight up, can I do a no roll? And it said, I have no idea what that means. Would you like to do a library? No, I would not like to do a library. I would like to end this investigation. After some digging and typing, I think we have found the end, and it is not good. I point blank asked the AI, does Sabrina have enough info to possibly locate the professor or even start down the road? And the reply is, while they've made progress, the investigation is complex and layered. Sabrina and Elias are on the right path, but they may need to continue gathering clues, uncovering leads, and connecting the dots to piece together the professor's location. It's a journey that requires careful consideration, persistence, and potentially seeking out more information from contacts, allies, or other sources. Remember that investigations in Call of Cthulhu can be intricate, and uncovering the truth often involves a combination of skills, interactions with NPCs, and the gradual accumulation of evidence. If you feel that Sabrina's current knowledge might be insufficient to find the professor, you might consider exploring new avenues, seeking out additional sources, or strategizing with Elias. If I can even talk right, strategizing with Elias on the best course of action to push the investigation forward. And I've just cross-checked my notes, and I have basically unturned every stone the AI has thrown at us. I have even given it better suggestions like going to town hall, revisiting locations, talking to NPCs. What I'm fearing, and I feel like it's coming true, is that unless I initiate an NPC, a place, knowledge, etc., aka railroading / forcing the AI's hand and pushing the investigation forward, the AI just doesn't do it and just kind of mulches over the same things over and over again, which to me goes against what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is have the AI act as an independent keeper that can narrate a story, that I can investigate details in the story, and that way I can move forward organically. I hate to end it on this kind of note, but I think we're at a crossroads here. Yes, I can keep pushing the story forward and kind of pressing the AI to then make up new NPCs and locations, etc. That's only gonna aggravate me and make me lose interest, which I kind of am at this point. So for all intents and purposes, we're gonna go with that Sabrina does save the day in the end. Where I feel like the ending is going to go is that probably with Elias's help, she's going to find the professor, use his research, and then find a way to stop this ritual from coming to fruition. Because the AI doesn't put a lot of depth into a lot of these NPCs, I really don't think that Elias is going to betray me in any way. You know, it even said that his demeanor is neutral, and it said it multiple times. So I don't think they're going to pull a fast one on me and then all of a sudden make him evil. Sabrina hasn't really encountered a lot of hurdles in this investigation, whether it regards to sabotage or people tracking her. So in my humble opinion, I do believe that Sabrina in the end will save the day, and we're gonna end on that note. And so ends our Chat GPT versus COC series. Not the ending I wanted, but can't win them all. But like I said, we're going to start up with a lot of the solo Chaosium one-shots, so stay tuned for that. I'm also working on my narrations of Lovecraft stories, and then we'll be doing a podcast-style post-show. Those are also in the works, as well as other long-form style of content, whether it's book hauls, movie reviews, game reviews, etc. Definitely want to dive into some Candela Obscura as well. So yeah, got a lot of good content planned coming soon. So if you haven't already, whether you're listening on Spotify podcasts or YouTube, definitely subscribe for more. Obviously on YouTube, if you throw a like or a comment, that greatly helps the channel, because I got a lot of stuff coming through the pipeline, so stay tuned.